my thumbnail, okay, for the pictures. I don't know why one side of my head looked lopsided, but that's neither here nor there, okay? Honey, I am so full, okay? So I had I was in my room and I was reading The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Many of you guys done heard me talk about this book so many times, okay? By Dr. Joseph Murphy. And as I was in the room, I was thinking like, what could I make? Okay, because I started getting a little hungry. Okay, a little hungry. Okay. And I was like, what could I make? And so I said, you know what? I could make a pasta dish, okay, like a Alfredo. Okay. Now, I had so much in this plate. I kept going big. I was on Facebook Live and then I was on a Zoom call. But then the Zoom call, I said, you know what? I'm going to attend this once I'm able to pay for the class. So and it was really good because one of the people who is part of the Zoom call, well, it's three content creators, and one of the people that I watched his content so much, Aaron Dowdy, who is a content creator who talks about the laws of the universe, manifestation, how to win a guy, and one day or something like that. Okay. And so I was doing that Zoom call. And then I said, you know what? Let me go live on Facebook. And I went live on Facebook and now I'm here. Okay. So I had used these mushrooms. Okay. Now it may look like chicken. Okay, honey, I'm tired. Okay, I done ate so much of this, I'm sleepy now. Right? So I use these mushrooms. Okay, these are oyster mushrooms. And oh, that was so good. So I use some noodles. My noodles are probably like a little droopy now. I use some linguine garbanzo noodles. Okay, so if you're a person that you like, I want to eat better, because if you eat in like the white pastas, the white rice, the white bread, first off, is gluten, right? Majority of the stuff has gluten in it. And when you think of gluten, think of gluten expands, okay, right? Like it expands. And that's normally like a lot of times what people tend to make bread with. But the white stuff, white rice, white pasta, you know, I used to think white flour, I used to think like the only way, I remember I was in college, right? And it was this guy who used to help me with my homework. Yes, he did. And I was going to school I wanted to become a police officer. Okay, now you don't necessarily have to go to school to become a police officer, but I wanted to become a police officer. And the more education you have, right, the more you can apply to higher ranks, right, after you on the force and stuff like that. So I remember it was this guy, and honey, he was so smart. I mean, like, oh my goodness, he was so smart. From Ghana, from Africa, so smart. Hey, bad jokes, PC, baby, PC, PC. Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you the story, okay? The reason why I didn't become a cop. So some of you guys know my story, right? Well, if you don't know my story, this is my story. When I was about 12 years old, okay, yeah, 12 years old. All right. I first of all, I was living with my aunt, okay, but I felt her rules was too strict. It was my mother's sister. She had custody of me. And what happened was, I ran away. I ran away from her. And I was in group homes, foster homes, in the juvenile detention center, and all these, different things, right? And the reason I was in the youth house was because I started selling drugs. And this is what happened. This is what happened. So when I was younger, right, I started staying back with my father. Now, DYFS had pretty much took me away from my father because of the living conditions, because it was a lot of drug paraphernalia in the house, and not like when they came there, but from, you know, people called, and it would be women there that was, prostitutes, and stuff like that. And that was sort of like somewhat the environment. I was pretty much like, my father was the type, you could do whatever it is you want to do. Okay. It didn't matter. You could pretty much, basically, you gonna raise your damn self. Right. Now, it would be some structure, like my father would beat you or whatever it was. But for the most part, it was pretty much you could do what you want. Right. No supervision really. And so I went from my father's house. Diapers got involved, and then I went to a foster home. One day, I seen my father's girlfriend, one of his ex-girlfriends, who was rather younger than him. And the foster home that I was staying in, it wasn't too far from where my father lived, probably about like 10 or 15 minutes, right? And so what happened was, his girlfriend, my father's girlfriend, was like, hey, come, your father miss you and stuff like that. So I went with the lady, okay, and then my foster mother, she was like really worried. She was the older lady. She was like really, who was so sweet, right? But when you were a kid, right? And I was really like a daddy's girl. In my eyes, my father could do no wrong, okay? And so I left, and I went to go start, I was at my father's house, and then Dyfus got called again, okay, and the report was made that pretty much I ran away, and so I was escorted back to back to the foster lady home. Then the foster lady was like, pretty much, she wasn't gonna deal with this, me running away, and it was me and my sister, okay, me and my sister. My sister 2 years older than me. That is my ace, boom boom, okay, my sister Melissa. We've been through so much shit together, right? And so we went back to the foster home. And so the foster lady, she was there with her daughter, her older daughter. And they pretty much was like, why would you run away and all this other stuff? And, like pretty much scolding us. And so the foster lady, she decided, because her daughter was like, Mom, that's too much for you. They running away and stuff like that. So what happened was, the foster lady, she pretty much told Dyfus that she didn't want to keep us because we done ran away, right? And so from there, I was placed into a group home. Who would ever do it? Honey, I was supposed to be coming on here talking about my damn pasta, okay? So from there, I was placed into a group home. And so I stayed in a group home for a while. And then my aunt and uncle, they decided to get custody of us. And from them getting custody of us, my sister and I, we stayed with my aunt. We still went to the same school. I went to Catholic school, private school, whatever you want to call it, Catholic school. And through all this process, I still stayed in school. Okay. And then from me staying with my aunt, I just felt like the rules, it was like too strict. And I get it now as I have gotten older. The reason she was like that, because she wanted to prevent me, I guess, from making decisions that I seen growing up. Okay. And so from that point on, oh, I appreciate you. So from that point on, I, ran away. I was running away again, and then went to go stay with my father. My father had hired his attorneys, and then, he got custody of me and my sister and stuff. And this is how I got into the criminal activity. First of all, I grew up in the projects. Okay, I grew up in the hood. Okay, and so while I grew up in the hood, right, you see so many things, right? You see so many things, honey. This not even this is garbanzo bean pasta. Okay, honey, I got fancy. Okay, I don't eat meat. Okay, I've been telling everybody, honey, I don't eat meat. Okay. Did you guys see the guy who was from Texas? Now maybe jumping, okay, jumping everywhere. Did you see the guy that was eating a burger from Texas? Okay, and I think I told this story on here. I know I told it on Facebook, but did you see the guys that the guy who was eating a burger from Texas and a big white clump had fell out of his burger? He thought it was mayonnaise until it started moving. And you know how on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, they have like the doctors like analyzing the situation and saying like what that is. And so it was a tapeworm. What about those Wendy burgers? Have you guys tried those Wendy burgers that's 1 cent? I said 1 cent. I don't know. But anyway, so so I was, standing in the project, standing in the hood. Okay, I'm from the hood. Okay, the hood taught me so much. Okay, so many lessons learned. I'll never be ashamed of me growing up in the projects. Okay, because it's not about what you've been through, is about where you're going. Okay, it's about where you're going. Okay, but don't forget where you came from. So anyway. So it was this guy who I knew from the projects, okay? And one day I was like, let me get $5, okay? Begging, the little kid that be begging, okay? So I was like, let me get $5. So he was like, I don't have $5, I have this. Yeah, papaya seeds. I got some papaya seeds up there on that counter, okay? And I got a papaya in the fridge. I gotta really juice that papaya that's in the fridge, because so it's a few things, right, that'll get rid of the parasites. And oh my goodness, these herbs, they taste so nasty. Okay, I'm gonna be the first to say it. Is cascrata sagrada, that's one herb. Is wormwood, that's another herb. You could use cloves. You could use I believe yellow dock. You could use some yellow dock. I know yellow dock is a blood purifier. It'll clean your blood out. Also another blood purifier would be red clover, right? So, and there's some more herbs that taste absolutely positively nasty. Okay, but I do have cascrata sagrada. And cascrata sagrada, if you look, oh yeah, black walnut, that's right. If you look at you. If you look at the back of laxatives and stuff like that, a lot of the laxatives, they do have some cascrata sagrada up in there. Okay. All right. Just FYI. Okay. Just FYI. So anyway, so the guy, he was like, I don't have $5, but I have this, right? And it was a vow. Okay. Now, to the person that's like, oh, what? Honey, it was goddamn. I always got to refer back to Whitney Houston, because I remember she said, because sometimes I'd be like, it was coke. No, it was crack. Because I remember Whitney Houston said, crack is whack, and she ain't on no damn crack because crack is cheap. Okay, so it was crack. All right. So he was like, I don't have $5, but I got this. And I was like, Dad, now I knew, I knew it was drugs, right? And I didn't have a clue, okay? I'm from the projects, but shit, I ain't know nothing about selling it, honey, or whatever it was. It took me about probably a week to distribute that one bottle, okay? Now, I'm not proud of that, okay? I share this with you guys because is that we leading up to the whole police thing, right? Me wanting to become a cop. And so that happened, and next thing you know, honey, I was on the corner. Okay, I done stopped going to school, and this was like when I was about in the 6th grade. Okay, stopped going to school. In fact, the school that I was going to, the Catholic school, they was pretty much like, they done heard stories, and they pretty much was like, nope, she can't come back here. I guess, they felt like I would be a bad influence towards the other kids. Okay. And I get it. So after that, I remember I fell in love. Okay, honey was so young. Okay, fell in love with this street dude. Okay, he was probably about 4 years older than me, and I fell in love, honey. I thought I was it never did anything with the dude, but I was his swag, okay, was so appealing to me. Okay, and at that time, going back, he put me in a lot in the mind of my father. So some may say, what? Right? Oftentimes is what was his name? Floyd, right? Sigmund Floyd or whatever, who said that we often get into relationships that is like our mother or our father. Okay, that reminds us. Yes. Look at you. Okay, you try to tell me y'all not my audience. Okay, you try to tell me we ain't damn family. Okay, because you guys know. Okay, so yeah, so at that time I didn't know, right? So I'm just like, so the dude went to the youth house, okay? And I remember I got caught, right, by the popo, okay? He was a coke fiend. No, so he was a dealer. He was a drug dealer. Okay. She like, was he a coke fiend? No, he was a dealer. He was a dealer. Okay. Oh. Oh, you have me laughing. You got the right name, bad jokes. Oh my goodness, that was funny. Okay, honey, I should have clarified that. So anyway, so he used it in treatment. Who used it in treatment? Sigmund Floyd used it in treatment. What? Used drugs in treatment? Really? I never heard that before. What? Wow. So, so the dude he went to jail, right? And he went to jail for selling drugs, okay? And so I remember I got caught, right, by the popo. Now the popo was gonna let me go because they was like, she young, this her first offense, whatever, that we never really seen her up here before, whatever. And I was telling them to bring me to jail, okay? I was telling them, and I wasn't on drugs. Oh, well, I was smoking a little weed here and there. But I was so fixated about being in this relationship. It was sort of like my ideal of Bonnie and fucking Clyde, okay? And bring me to youth house. And after you requested so many times, they wound up bringing me. And the guy was there, okay? And it wasn't like we could do anything, right? But he was in the youth house, I'm in the youth house and stuff like that. And so what happened was I went to the youth house probably it was several times. 2 times for substance. Okay, I had substance on me. And the rest of the times it was pretty much breaking probation. Okay, not abiding by my curfew, and my father he called the cops on me. Okay, I get to that. Maybe I'll tell that story another day. Or do you guys want to hear it now? I don't know. What time is it? Oh, it's 1:09. I got time because I got to go pick my children up. So what happened was, so I got released, and that was like the first time. That was the first time that my father like went to the courthouse, whatever it was, and like was supportive. But after that, my father was like, nope, I'm not showing up at the courthouse no more because it's like this is going to be an ongoing thing, right? So the last time I went to the youth house, my father had died, okay, while I was in the youth house. And so, like if nobody else is going to take you, okay, then the state wound up taking you. So it was a program called DevRox. Some of you guys probably heard this program, DevRox Deer Haven, and it's all the way out in Chester, New Jersey. Okay. And so the state had came, they had, put me pretty much in this program, this all girls program. And from that time, like I decided, I was like, you know what? I want to be a cop, right? It was a CO. I never forget his last name, Molina. Okay, and I remember when I would talk to Molina all the time because he was a correctional officer for the youth house, and me and him would talk. And he was like, he would tell me like about his job being a correctional officer and stuff like that. So then, honey, I'm like, I want to get into law. Okay, now I done been in the youth house back and forth, whatever. So when I got into Chester and DevRox Deer Haven, one of the things that I noticed was it was different. Okay. It was predominantly a lot of white people, okay, and it was something that I wasn't really used to, right, living in the projects and stuff like that, and it was so, the houses, it was like the first time I seen like wealth, right, like coming from the projects. And I believe, like, even back then, the universe was showing me what's possible. And at that time, as a kid, you just like, I don't want to be here. I want to go back and all this other stuff because it's unfamiliar and stuff like that. And so I remember it was this staff member who worked at Chester, New Jersey, right? DevRox Deer Haven, the program. I remember he was going to become an FBI agent. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I want to do that. And his name was Mr. Oral. Okay. And Mr. Oral was, honey, he was finer than wine, girl. Finer than wine. Okay. Honey, he looked so good. Okay. And so I remember he was, and I was like, oh my goodness, like he had gave me, I never forget this. So he had gave me the FBI, like the book and stuff like they tend to study. And I would be studying it and all this other stuff. And then my brother and sister mother, from my father's side, their mother and her husband decided to get custody of me. And so I went back to my old stomping grounds, okay, back to Jersey, okay, back to Jersey City, and back to the projects, okay. And from that time, I went back to school and then was placed in special ed because I missed so much of school, okay. But when I was in Chester, I did go to school, but the program school, and sometimes they don't count that really as, when you go back. Well, probably they did, but they still was like, I was so damn far behind, okay. And so I was going to school, and then from that, yeah, he was really good, really good. Like, he was like really cool, a cool ass staff member. And everywhere I go, like I normally leave, like, I don't want to say like a dumb print or whatever, but I'll always leave a very positive, I'm looking for the words, right? I'm always leaving something as positive, that whether it's the staff or the teachers or whatever, for them to they always remember me. And so I remember when I was leaving that program, and the staff, like, they all got together, they took me out to eat, and then they took me to Express. Now let me tell you something, okay? Because Express, honey, it was kind of pricey. Oh, that's okay. It was kind of pricey, okay? And I remember they like got together and they took me shopping at Express and stuff like that before I left, because I was about to leave. I was about to get discharged or whatever. Is it just discharged? Yeah, discharged, I guess. And so then, I'm in high school and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be a cop. Like I'm still saying it like I'm gonna be a cop, the FBI thing, whatever it was. And after that, like my whole focus was then I went to college and remember I met, and this is the purpose because a lot of times, like you could be saying you gonna go one way, and source have something completely, totally different for you. And I never forget, it was a retired police officer who was a professor, who became a professor, and now I think he's doing. I think he's I'm trying to think. A parole or probation officer, I think. His name was Mr. Drew, right? It's funny because it was Mr. Drew that was in a program where I was at. But anyway, so Mr. Drew, right? One day he told the class, like, write a paper, whatever it is, about some type of adversity or whatever it was. So I told the story about when I was, 13 years old, because at 13 I was, I was distributing, okay, and this place called Beggar's Lot, okay, where it would be like a lot of people that would be on who had addictions and stuff. And I was there, I was like 13 years old, and I remember I wrote their story, like I told, and he kept looking at, and somebody is like, okay, somebody is like, they keep on looking at the paper and looking at you. And so I remember he called me up so he could speak to me. So he was like, "This you?" Because I done changed. I mean, I done did some people say they done did a 360. I mean, I done did a trillion. Okay, I done changed so damn much. Okay, and so I was telling him, I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And he was like, "Could you read this to the class?" Like, damn, really? Okay. But all of us had to read, the adversity and stuff. And so I read to the class. I didn't give a damn. Okay, it was something that I lived, something that I did. And so what happened was, I was telling him, because I was like, "Oh, I want to be a police officer and stuff like that." And he was like, "I don't know if you could be a police officer because you was incarcerated before." And it wasn't like in a way like, don't try it. Like he was supportive. He was like, you could try it and stuff like that. He was like, "But I think you would be really, really good at speaking to people." What? I said, what? I was in my feelings because I was like speaking to people. I was like, what the fuck? Because my whole idea, the reason that why I really wanted to be a police officer, it was just for the control. That was really mainly it, okay? Because of the control, the authority, and if you probably feel small in your world, okay, now you become something where as though, you have authority, okay, now you're gonna feel big, okay? And so I was like, so I still disregarded what he said. I just was like, no, that's not true, because what about Judge Mathis? Okay, he done been in jail when he was younger, and he's a damn judge now. And so I still finished school, and then I got my associate's degree in criminal justice, and then I took the test for New York to become a police. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, becoming a police officer in New York. Okay, so I took the test for New York, and then I took the test, and I failed. I failed the test in New York, I think. I believe I failed it. And then I took the test for Jersey City, and that didn't do so well. And so here I am. Okay. All right. No, but after that, I still was like, I'm going to keep on taking the test. I'm going to keep on taking the test. And I just, after I took the test and after I graduated, I still went back to school. Because then I was like, you know what? Maybe I could be like a therapist or something, right? So I went to school. I went to the university, and I went there for 2 semesters. And after that, I just was like, this not for me. But Mr. Drew, all the way back then, was telling me, he was like, maybe you could be, like you could speak to people. And what he said was sort of like, inspiration, like a social worker. I said because I was like, a social worker. Nothing against the social workers out there, okay, honey, keep doing your thing, okay. But I just was like, a social worker. I didn't see myself like, and so it's so funny how the universe sort of do a 360, right? Because everything that I've been through, I'm here to tell you guys and use it in a sense where as though it's like you always have the ability to pull your damn self up from wherever you are, from wherever you've been. Okay, you do not have to stay there. Okay. And so, with that being said, okay, this is my time. I got to go, honey. I don't have so many bowls of this. Okay, it was mushrooms. Okay, it was mushrooms. Probably look like chicken, but it's not. It was mushrooms, oyster mushrooms with some tomatoes, peppers, habanero peppers. You see me doing this, right? Habanero peppers, regular red peppers, and tomatoes, onions. I don't know. I gotta see. But this week I'm doing a podcast, so I'm heading out to New York City, and one of my homegirls, she's going to have me on her podcast. So that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be this week. I don't know. I want to say the next time we as though I get paid from Facebook and the pay is like woo. Okay, I think that's probably the next time I have a gig, because one of the things that I have in mind now, I could get a spot in New York City because they're fairly cheap, okay, in New York City. But the only thing about that is I don't know who is going to be willing to travel to New York City. I don't know. But I know it's going to be soon. I just don't know when. And when I do know, okay, you will be the first to know, because you were supposed to come to the first one, but you couldn't. So yeah, so with that being said, I love you guys. Thanks for spending time with me. I appreciate you guys, because listen, you could have been doing something else and come to Philly. It's so funny. Somebody said, oh, I see you. I think he said, I see you moving to LA, or let me find out you coming to Los Angeles. I said, what? Okay. Yeah, so listen, you never know. You never know how these things work, okay? You never know. Let me find out I'm doing a whole tour. Okay, let me find out I'm about to go on tour. Okay, you never know. So with that being said, I catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you rocking out, believing in yourself. Make sure you know it is possible. Whatever it is, whatever it is. Okay, it's been times where as though I didn't know, where I was gonna stay at. Okay, didn't know, was living pillow to post. Okay, you guys heard I was in foster home, I was in group homes, I was in the juvenile detention center. Okay, I was in transitional housing, I was in an all girls program. So just because what you've been through, okay, it may be very, very probably traumatizing or whatever it is, but know that it is purpose in that. Okay, it's purpose in that, and you are purposeful. Okay, so never look at your life and just feel like, damn, some people feel that they are losers. You're not a loser. Okay, you are smart. I don't give a damn what grade you dropped out of. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, you are smart enough, you are deserving, you are worthy, you are beautiful. Listen to this, okay? And you are enough. Okay, you are enough. You have everything within you already, okay, to create the life that you desire. Everything, only thing you need to do is start believing in yourself. And how do you know if you believe in yourself? Well, this is one of the key ways that you know if you believe in yourself. You show up. You show up. Even if nobody else believe in you, you show up. I told you guys when I first started making content, okay, and I would do videos and stuff like that, and I would be wanting the people to engage with me, and I would be saying like, give me a like or give me a thumbs up or give me, a heart or whatever. Even when I would say, let me know if you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up, right? And nobody, honey, it was crickets. Nobody would say anything, okay? But I kept on going. Why? Because I believe in myself. And that was, I keep saying 6.5 years ago, but I think that was like, wait, I keep getting 5 years, okay? Let's say 5.5, okay? What was it, 5.5? I don't know. I think I started 2018 or probably 2017. One of those years. And it was crickets. It was crickets. Nobody would say okay? Nobody say any damn thing, okay? But I believed in me enough, okay? I know what source said. Okay, now you can say the universe, you can say Allah, you can say Jesus Christ. You can say whatever it is, what you want to say. You can't get wet from saying water. Okay. All right. And I just kept on going. I kept on showing up. That's all I do. Keep showing up because I believe in myself so much that I know is going to happen. It's not about how it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Okay. And I want you to believe in yourself like that too. Okay. All right. So with that being said, honey, I got to wash these dishes. I got to get ready to pick my chilling up. Okay. In a few minutes. And I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.